Africa, my land, Africa, my people. If we say that apartheid regime was abolished through the introduction of our constitution, then we cannot now again find our people going out to exile in this day and age. There's really something wrong with our country, that is. We find that our president is running away now to Russia. Why is he running away from Sebe? Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good day. How are you, sir? Good day to the audience.
Good day indeed.
Yes.
Why is our former president Umsholozi running away from? Why do you think that is?
Hey, I may not know. Well, what we know, Uti, it's been some time now. Our former president had a problem with the law.
Mhm.
So, as into whether he's the victim or what, maybe it's the topic of another day.
But really, there's something going on. He has been chased for many years ago now. It's been like that. Every judgment going against him, he's always coming second last.
Well, the truth of the matter, Uguti Mfethu, I'm not going to sit here, perhaps sanitize. The wrongdoings of our former president.
Mhm.
But I feel, Uguti, again, it is important for us to apply the law fairly.
Mm.
And when we speak about the former president, we all know, Uguti, he has been incarcerated, he has served time. And again, the issue of Uguti, he was released before time. It's another matter because of he did not release himself.
Mm.
So I feel Uguti, the state organs now have been used, or people are using the state organs to fight their political battles, of which is something that really we must talk about it because it needs to stop.
It was law that was used to break the law where people find themselves with no land and all that.
Yes, definitely. I remember that judgment when Justice Kambembe,
Mm.
she made that judgment. I think he was sentenced to 11 months.
Mm.
But again, he has served a portion of his sentencing. So I really do not know why. The courts become submissive. To the idea of the Democratic Alliance to say no, Zuma must go back and he must finish his term. His sentencing. For me, it's all political motivated, and I still feel, Uguti, even the state organs, there are certain issues that they should be raising, that they should be dealing with.
Mm.
Issues like Pala, issues like VBS and all that. Those are the issues that people really want to know with what happened. And then, how is the investigation going? Instead of really going back and trying to really to chase, the former president.
Mm.
But we all know, Uguti Uzuma, he has been, a friend of Russia. Therefore, whether he went there to seek medical, attention or whatever, it's still sketchy at this point in time.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the controversy, of course, and we are deliberating on a very, very controversial topic, the politics of Africa.
Yes.
And as we have dived in already,
Yes.
so we are really looking forward, Tebe, to see if ever there is terrorism going on in the country. And I suppose we have to start looking at signs that are there. What is the gist? What does it depict if ever there's a banning of parliament in a country?
No, it's a serious matter. In other countries, banning of even a parliament, a flag,
Mm.
it means, Uguti, people are rioting against the state.
Mm.
And we can really not shy away with it or even sugarcoat that, people are really angry. You know, there's too much anger outside. People are really angry on our government. And obviously, if ever people are angry, then you would see the act of I don't really want to say the act of terrorism, but I will say you will see people, they will start being rebellious towards their own government that they choose. So you would see, I mean, the issue of the parliament. I think a week ago, I mean, Zandile Mafe, I mean, he agreed. He said he's the one who really banned the parliament, and he even said to Huti, even if he get an opportunity again, he's still going to ban the parliament because of he wants the parliament to move. I mean, from Cape Town to either Bloemfontein or Pretoria, and he spoke a lot. He spoke about the load shedding. He spoke about number of things. So that itself, it will tell you he's not just, I mean, a homeless person as we were made to believe Uguti was a homeless person. But you can see Uguti, there is an act of terrorism or the act of being rebellious against the government. And one way or another, people are really, if ever you can use, I mean, the July uprising, you can really see Uguti, the country really it's spending. It's just a matter Uguti, I mean, the media really does not entertain us or even try to put it, I mean, to put the picture that people are angry outside.
Going back to our previous episode where we're saying the media is not really supporting the development of the country and our awareness of the people.
Yes.
So going back now to those signs that are showing us that there's something really going on in this country. There's a bombing that happened in our streets at Joburg.
Yes.
We usually call it Bree Street. What's the other name? The African name.
Tama, I don't know whether it's Tama or I don't know the name. Let's just stick to Bree Street.
Still today, they have not yet discovered what really transpired there.
Yeah, I again, Vetu, it speaks to the sense of agency. I mean, of our authorities, because of, I mean, immediately when this thing happened, number one citizen of the province was there, Panyazani Sufi, and then he spoke, and then that there will be preliminary investigations and all that. But we're still waiting to see Uguti really what happened. And I sense Uguti, these people, they are aware of what happened.
They are.
But what they are trying to do, they are trying really to censor the information so that people may really not know what happened. So, I mean, we're going to sit and wait. But yes, definitely there is something that's happening into our politics. People are rioting one way or another. You can see people are angry. And I always say any revolution that took place in the world, whether you speak of French Revolution, anyway, people they get tired. And once people, they get tired, they act. And perhaps, again, I need to take this opportunity and say, I mean, to people of Zimbabwe, next week, Zimbabwe is going to elections. Yes. And I'm saying to all Zimbabweans who are here in South Africa, irrespective of whether, I am an African, I'm a Pan-Africanist, and I believe in oneness of Africa, like Kwame Nkrumah and the other leaders. But it's very important that as much as we preach the idea of one currency, one Africa, but it is important for other sovereign, African countries to have functional governments, because that will it will mean Uguti, we're not going to have a pressure for welcoming and accommodating all, Africans. But if we have, all 56 countries, functional in Africa, then it will mean we'll have a better economy in Africa. Therefore, I would really like to encourage all Zimbabweans to go back to their country.
And
They
vote.
must and vote. Yes, they must stop really parading our streets as if they own the streets of Joburg and masquerading as if they are king and queens of Joburg. They must go to their country and fix their country and vote. And vote. And again, it is very important to say they must fight for their own country. Because this thing of being bystanders in their own country, they must go and rewrite their own history. So I'm saying they must use whatever that they have, whether through the issue of the ballot, or they militarize themselves and act in order to remove the tyrant called Mnangagwa, because really, Mnangagwa is really a dictator, who's ruling that country, using iron fist, and really the economy of Zimbabweans, it's really under the jaws of the tyrant Mnangagwa. So they must liberate themselves instead of really acting like they are smart here in South Africa. They must go back to their country. And again, I must thank the office of the EFF, because I saw the presser that EF said they are ready to pay for the buses.
To go back.
Yeah, for them to go back, and because they need to go back and fix their country. And so we're just passing that message so that, all African states can really function. And again, the work of African Union and other stakeholders here, SADC, they must really be fair to say, no, this was not a fair election. Because we really had problem, in Zimbabwean elections. Everyone can see, the elections are not fair. But these people, they will come and say, no, the elections were fair. So really,
our president.
Exactly, I'm talking about him. I'm talking about him because he's also a chairman of SADC. They need to go there and safeguard the Zimbabweans have a fair and free elections. So it is their duty.
But how then is our president going to handle affairs of our neighboring countries if he's failing also to handle affairs of his country?
No, when it comes to our president, it's not a matter of failure, but it's the matter of whether is he really into power. Because of that's another matter. I really don't think the guy he's delinquent has really the actions of him suggesting that he is. But I just think he's serving a certain narrative, he's serving a certain agenda. He is really being controlled by what we call Stellenbosch mafias. And that's the problem of South Africa. In South Africa, people, they do not know it's under the leadership of Stellenbosch mafias.
Oh, okay. So
yes.
That was actually my next question. Who is running the country?
Stellenbosch mafias.
So they bought the judges, they bought everyone in the country.
Not exactly that. Because again, it will be very disingenuous for us to say the justice system has been bought. But however, now we can see Uguti. Really, if you speak about these people, whites in South Africa are protected. And this is the conversation that I had with you to say, I don't understand why black people are still afraid of white people, even today. So even our president, he's suffering from that problem of being afraid to white people. And really, at some point, we need to be realistic and say, after 1994, we were all happy about this new dispensation. And perhaps we're given, freedom on other matters, maybe on social matters and other things, but are we really free economically? Because you can really see now the work of Equadesa and all that. It really favored whites, and even now our economy, it's still really under the hand of white regime, and that's a fact.
But how then are we not supposed to be afraid of whites if ever we still have white Jesus hanging in our walls? So we're praying to the white Jesus then, which means the white person is a supreme person.
Yeah, I mean it's that issue again, Fetu Uguti. But I'm saying the culture it's changing. I saw Ungizwe in one of when he was a court. He really did not say help me God. He called his ancestors and all that. So yes, the issue of white Jesus and all that, it's another matter. But you must remember again, Fetu, I always said to you, Uguti, in South Africa, it's a secular state. 90% of people, even the laws of the country, Fetu, are really favoring Christianity. And we understand that. And very few people, Fetu, know Uguti, the architecture of apartheid. Started, or the church was used. And I'm going to name those two churches. Dutch Reformed Church. And the name, it says Dutch Reformed Church, which is a big church, and very strange because of the membership of those churches are blacks.
But it's from Dutch.
Yes, and the NG Kerk Church. Those churches were used, those are the churches that were used as a tool for them to start. What we call apartheid today. So therefore, you would see Uguti. Our politics really they make justice. The whites to say we need to align. The matters of the religion with politics. And therefore, we were taught, or our parents, because definitely not me, our parents were taught they must be afraid of their masters. And this is the problem, that even the leadership, it submits to its masters, which are whites, by the way.
Yeah, as we are trying to dig deep into our politics, our problems in Africa, in South Africa, that is. Going now into Africa now as a whole.
Yes.
I'm trying to draw parallels in what is happening in Niger.
Yes.
Government now.
Wow, it's a bad situation there. The situation is very diabolical there.
What's happening there, and what's your take on it?
Okay, but firstly, I think let me just make this statement before. I have never seen any African country that has a military base in Europe or in America. I'm about to be schooled or to be reminded if there is any African country that has a military base in any of the European countries, Asia or whatsoever. So the problem started with, the problem of Niger, it started with America. Or the Western Europeans, having a take on who was going to be the president
on our African soil.
So in 2018, these guys came to the country, and then they've built their base there, and then again, Mohamed Bouzam, he really enjoyed the support of America. So you can say now what people are revolting because of, they can see that the decisions that are made there economically. That country, it's got resources, it's got oil, it's got gold, coal, whatever that you can talk about. So you can now see Uguti, even by the time when there was no tensions there, but one fails to understand what French troops were doing there, what American soldiers were doing in African soil. So now you can really see Uguti in Niger, or Mohamed Bouzam himself. He was really not the leader there. But again, I really support. The coup d'etat that is happening there. I think they must just dethrone the guy. I'm happy on the military regime that has decided to act on it, because of really we need if really we cannot really solve the problems, in the boardroom, I would really encourage the people who they must militarize themselves and they must dethrone this government that is really siding with the Western regime. Because obviously, most of the African countries, you see African people, being hungry, you see African people suffering. It's because of why, the resources are being looted, by Americans and all these European, what we call countries. Because of these people, what they do, they capture the leaders. And this is the problem that we're having, even now in South Africa, that, our leader, he's very Western.
Before we bring it back home,
Yes.
In Niger or in Africa, usually the coup are usually organized by the Europeans or the Americans.
Yes.
How now sure are we that this coup is not one of their doings?
Well, I don't know, but what we know exactly, Uguti, I saw Russian flags.
From the people of
yes, from the people of Niger. So now you can see, Uguti, it's that issue of power between the Eastern European side as well as the Western. So now you can see, Uguti, these people are really siding with the Russia. So definitely that one way to it obviously to go to war, it's very expensive. So therefore, you know Uguti, they are funders. So at this point in time, we do not know who's really funding the war, but we know exactly Uguti. These people now, they are singing praise. Of Vladimir Putin, and we see, ordinary Africans carrying the flags of Russia, meaning they are siding with the idea of a socialite state.
All right. Before again we taking it back here.
Yes.
The people of Niger are fighting for uranium being taken to France and leaving them without electricity.
Yes.
Same as us here when we are having a lot of charcoal. Coal, yes. Where it is now exported to European countries.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your take on that?
If we start maybe even talking about this thing, the language that is used there, the official language of Niger, it's French. Yet these are African people. We all know which these people were colonized by French and all that. But surely these people, they should be speaking their own native language. One. And again, for it, what now is happening? I saw France had sent, President Macron had sent a number of aircrafts to Niger to evacuate white citizens. Because as we're sitting here, I know that about 9,000 of French people, they went back home. But what is happening to 25 million of Nigerians? That is the issue. And that is the issue that we're talking about. We must really do away with this capital imperialistic view. We really need Western to assist us. Because already it's the problem that that's the problem that you would find. Next month, all these African leaders, they need to go to a summit in America to present themselves as into why America must still review or must still assist them in terms of funding. What nonsense is that?
We must explain ourselves.
We need to go and explain ourselves to say, no, we still want you to work with you and all that. Why these people there today are busy looting? When you speak of Congo, when you speak of Congo, when you speak of South Africa, you go to Richards Bay, you would see, thousands of trucks they're carrying our coal
Going up.
going out. Yet we have a problem here. Same thing is happening
First
in
grade. Even.
first grade coal. Yes, same thing that's happening here in South in Niger again. It's the very same thing that is happening here. And again, it's very easy to solve this problem. Nationalize the mines. Why you still have a mine that it's called, Anglo Platinum? Anglo means
Africa.
British. You know, why you having a mine called De Beers? We all know De Beers. It's an American company. Why would you have a mine that is called, De Beers in African soil? So just nationalize these mines.
But
And again, sorry to interject. And again, politicians really, they need to decide whether they want to be politicians or business people
or puppets.
or puppets even.
But while we're still there, are we ready though to extract our own gold from the mines? Are we ready to feed our people? Are we ready to give medical attention to those who
Yeah,
have?
yeah. You know,
AIDS,
but I always speak with the issue of civilization because of this Western ideology that tends to suggest that before whites came into Africa, whites could not think. Blacks could not think. Blacks could not farm. Blacks could not mine. We all know that there was a direct trade between the kingdom of Mapungwe, which was a mine. These people were extracting gold before civilization came, before whites came with their machinery and all that. We all know that.
So it is this narrative.
Definitely. So it's possible for blacks to we are ready, because of it happened before the issue of industrialization came to forth. Our people, our forefathers were able to have gold, were extracting gold, in the 10,000 kilometers, down. And they were able to trade. They were trading with other countries. They were trading with India. The history is there. But no one knows about this thing. What we had the kingdom of Mapungwe here, and it was a gold mine. So I'm saying, what we are ready. We really do not need these people. President Vladimir Putin said last week in African summit with Russia, he said, the world must really respect Africa because of really they cannot function. But we are blessed with resources, but we really have limited leaders with limited minds and imagination.
All right. Before we get into too much problems, that is, in Africa, in South Africa, there were 2 planes that were flown in by Russia, which had nuclear bombs. Recently,
Allegedly.
No, it's not allegedly.
Okay.
Something that happened. I will show the viewers the video.
Okay.
This shows that there is trust between us and Russia. And Russia is now sending a message to whoever that there is this taking over of Africa. Are we heading to the right direction though? Is Russia our savior or the
Okay, I think, but just to answer your question, let's speak about the issue of the USSR, Soviet Union. And you will now understand, Uguti, the relationship that we have now with Russia. It started a long time ago. The so-called Umkhonto we where most of these people were trained there. That's what. But there is another important, aspect of what we are talking about. Uguti, Russia never colonized any African country. And for me, there is a starting point to say these people, they really never colonized any of the African countries. Yes, in Russia too. I always and we had this conversation in this show, and I said perhaps it is time that we really do not need to side with Europe or with Western or side with America or even side with Russia. But we need to establish, a strong African state that will be one. But definitely, Mfethu, I see most of the countries now, they are trying by all means to be friends with Russia.
They see the
Yes, because that's what, as I'm saying, with Russia to never colonize any of the African countries. When we know, the British, France, they were just deciding in 1889. When they decided to put these borders, they were just decided to, it's okay, and Portuguese would know, I'm going to take Mozambique. One will say, I'm taking South Africa and Zimbabwe and Zambia. Germans were there in Namibia. So you can really see, Uguti, the fight, it's still long. Uguti pay. But again, it's the issue of our leaders. Our leaders, I really find it problematic. Our leaders are really submitting to the Western ideology.
All right. What is Europe or the West having against us? What are they holding us with? Why are we still relying on them while there are other stakeholders?
Okay, but the issue, it's a very educated question, and I think I must deal with it.
Once and for all.
Yes, we have a problem of greedy leaders. So it happened even during the time of Mandela. When Mandela ascended to power, he went to World Bank to borrow money. This is the problem that we have in Uguti. We are owing the IMF, billions and billions. We are owing, the World Bank billions and billions because of, for these people, instead of but developing country, immediately when they are sent to power, they go to World Bank, they borrow money. And when they borrow money, there are certain treaties that are signed there. Okay, fine, you're going to pay us in the next 20 years. Therefore, in the next 20 years, you'd be really working as a slave or submitting to these people. So that's the solution. These people, firstly, they need to distance themselves from borrowing from the World Bank and IMF because of that is the issue. These superpowers are controlling us because of they are borrowing money. Because they've borrowed us. Yes, they've borrowed us money. And that is the problem.
The funding that they are talking about.
Yes, not even the funding, because funding it's another thing, because at least they will say, no, we're funding you. Now I'm talking about a direct loan. We even know there was a direct loan, billions. I think Ramaphosa took about 500. Yes, a direct loan. And you ask Uguti, the lives of South Africans, ordinary South Africans, improved after he managed to secure that loan? The answer is no.
They even failed to give each South African $1 million.
That's lazy thinking.
But it's our money. We cannot pay for it.
It's lazy thinking, man.
All right. Moving now, just a little bit now off in terms of the leadership, or maybe still part and parcel. There are creatives in Africa which are oppressed. Like there's these boys that were in Sudan that created a solar that could heat water in just seconds.
Yes.
That creation was nullified. And even the Zimbabwean that was doing wonders, nullifying all the electricity appliances as he was empowering them with frequency and all that.
Yeah.
Why are those people oppressed, and who's oppressing them?
Fine, so and in fact, it's going to sound like a broken record. Because what is happening is, you're speaking, even here in South Africa, there are a number of innovation and innovations that are taking place. Good people, fresh minds. But what is happening, Uguti, African leaders, they will still subject these poor kids and these innovators to the competitions in Europe. So you'd find Uguti, they will say, okay, this is the guy, he has assembled 1 and 2, he started 1 and 2, and then from there they would say, no, you need to go and further your education or polish your skill abroad. And from that moment, you will never hear of that guy again. So it's the issue, how do we protect what we have here instead of really relying to the West? Because that's the issue. And you can really tell, even if it's your idea, your idea, in fact, you can come up with a brilliant idea. But this Western imperialistic people, they will still, own that idea.
And take it away.
And definitely it will be known as exactly. If these people, they are able to Africa, and then they see Victoria Falls and then all that, and then they decide to go to, no, this fountain is beautiful, it's like Victoria, and then like Queen Victoria, and then they decide to say it's Queen Victoria.
But change all that.
Exactly, as if this thing, Table Mountain, as if Tigers even up.
What is the name? I think we should give Table Mountain an African name and Victoria Farm.
Musa Otunya, Victoria Falls an original name, but yeah, problem with yeah. We need
to go etafuleni lapha eKapa. All right. As we deliberate.
By the way, sorry to interject. That's an Afrikaans word, itaful. Okay, but we pass. So you need to liberate yourself. Yeah, you need to liberate yourself from that mind.
Bit by bit.
Yeah, sure.
I see we seem to enjoy political topics.
Yeah, I do.
You are a politician of no.
Yes, I am.
When are you opening your...
No, I just decided to go into business because of, in politics, you will speak, you will make noise, but you will still remain hungry.
Yeah.
Unless you join the bourgeoisies and oppress people. So I'm in no business of oppressing our black people. But as controversy, again, it is important for us to congratulate in jubilation the milestone that has been traveled by the EFF. I think they were celebrating their 10th anniversary. Yeah, I think as this show, we say congratulations.
I saw the men going up.
Yeah,
with the first like that.
Yeah. Well, the stage was magnificent.
Very
you must say.
He said a very controversial topic.
Yeah.
When he was talking about the number 1 citizen of Gauteng.
Yes. Can I please retire my comments on that matter?
Sorry for that.
Yeah, I would really like to retire.
No, I'm saying.
No, you may say it, but I really want to retire my.
Are you afraid of this man?
No, I'm not. Yeah, I can. The only person that I'm afraid of it's me.
I'm also afraid of me.
Yes.
All right, wrapping the show now. Looking forward now into what is it that we, when I say we as citizens, as Africans, what can we do as the listeners or viewers are viewing us? What can we do to assist the situation, to help in making
I'm
sure?
afraid that what I'm going to say, I may be charged with treason. But maybe
No, it's
in-
your view. You've got
yeah,
freedom of speech.
in maybe in simplistic way,
Mm.
I may say we just need to prepare ourselves.
Mm.
Because South Africans and all African people, they don't understand that there is a war that we are into.
They-
You know,
It's underground war.
it's underground war. So
Mm.
I'm saying, I mean, let's really go to the bedroom. I mean, to the boardroom to say.
It's not a war, man.
Okay, let's go to the boardroom
Uh,
and attend to these matters.
uh,
Ukuthi these people, they need to give back our land. That we need economical emancipation.
mm,
But should that fail, I think we need to militarize ourselves.
like Niger.
Yes, and take our land. That's all I can say for now.
Africa, my land.
And I'm not inviting, I mean, the authorities to come and charge me with treason.
Don't worry, I'm here. I'm here.
I hope so. Yes, but let's liberate, let's emancipate ourselves from these jaws and then from this monopoly of Americans and white people.
They say if you don't see it, you must forget about it. Something like that, ne?
No, angas.
All right, so we say it that if you don't see it, then open your eyes. Eat carrots. Watch the show. Do something, because there's really something going on here.
Okay.
And we are doing our part to find the issue. You, again, must do yours. Thank you very much for this time.
Asante.
Blessing us.
Asante.
Live without the truth, eh?